fans, it is here, the 2024 season of the USF Pro Championships presented by Continental Tire. And what a better place to be than the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg's right on the bay. Beautiful day, blue skies, a little bit of cloud. We could not ask for anything more than what we have here to start off this year's season. USF2000, the first category to get things underway here on a beautiful Friday. And who better to join me to kick off the season than the driver who's got the USF Pro Championship scholarship livery, last year's USF Juniors champion, Mr. Giaffoni. Are you ready to go here now?
Rob, it's an absolute blast to be here. St. Petersburg is way more beautiful than I expected. The atmosphere is amazing. And yeah, we'll be ready to rumble.
Tell you, Nicholas, like so many of the drivers here, the rookies coming into the category have never been on a street course before, and that puts them a little bit behind the eight ball, but a great qualifying effort. A couple sessions for you. How do you feel on the street circuit?
Well, it's definitely different than being close to curbs. Being close to walls is a whole different type of racing. I feel that the racing is going to be more of a chess match than actually everything out, so we'll keep an eye on that, but it feels amazing to be here. It's my first time on a street circuit. I'm adapting still. Couldn't get like a quite perfect lap, but I'm happy to be with D-Force and where this is a good point to start.
You have some teammates like a Matt Clark who have been on street circuits before, St. Petersburg, Toronto. Have you been able to rely on them a little bit to kind of maybe give you some insight? Turn one, for example?
Yeah, actually, yes. Having a team which runs two series, the USF2000 series and the Pro 2000 series, it really helps because you get that experience not only from the drivers but from the engineers as well. So you have a whole bunch of experience to teach you how to drive in these conditions, which makes everything much more simpler once you get in the car because you feel more prepared, you know?
I think everybody really excited about the start of the NTT IndyCar Series and, of course, us in the USF Pro Championships as well. The atmosphere here is tremendous. This place is packed already.
No, I mean, it's crazy. Coming into turn one at the back straight over 10, I mean, you can really see the crowd. It's sunny, it's shiny, and it's really beautiful.
A freshman crowd here this year in USF 2000, very, very tight. This driver's up front, going to qualify up there in the top four. But we did talk to a bunch of rookies. Let's have a look at some of the freshman class of 2024. Every season we come to the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg, our opening race of the season, we always have brand new drivers, the freshman class, if you will. This year, of course, drivers coming in from the USF Juniors program and from different series around the country and around the world. We have a fantastic group of rookies here for 2024. Let's take an opportunity to meet a few of those drivers.
My name is Mike Costello. I'm from Naples, Florida. And it's first year in USF 2000. Previously, I did the F4 US Championship, did quite well in that, got 3 wins, a lot of fast laps, finished 5th in the championship. And just back from that, a lot of karting and first time on a street course, so see how it goes. Just trying to get points on the board.
Always exciting to be here in St. Petersburg with a Florida driver, right? Kind of your home state race, but your first time on a street circuit. What's your mindset going into this weekend?
I'm really excited. Obviously, first time on a street course, so just have to learn it, see how it is. But I'm quite cool and collected, just trying to learn how to do everything, and just overall, like I said, just get points on the board and everything.
Ayrton Houck joining me right now. Ayrton, talk a little bit about your diverse experience, all the different cars you've driven.
Yeah, coming up isn't really the natural ladder that we've taken. We've done a lot of different things. I've been on pavement and dirt, midget cars, as well as some Formula 1600 driving. So I've got a little bit of experience doing both ovals and road courses, which will definitely play into the oval we're doing this year. So really excited to see how that'll go out.
Alongside me, Hudson Schwartz, one of the drivers who was a star last year in USF Juniors. Hudson, we're trying to get to know you guys here, the rookies in USF 2000. Tell me a bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my name's Hudson Schwartz. I'm 14. I live in Washington, D.C. And yeah, I just started in karting when I was about 11. And I did national karting all the way up until 12. And at 12, I really started making the transition. So from there, I went to Lucas Oil, and I did that, and I won the championship. So I did juniors, and now I'm doing 2000. And St. Pete, it's great. It's my first street course, so very excited.
You've had a lot of success, obviously. Lucas Oil School of Race and that Formula Car Series. You had success in karting as well, and a great run last year in USF Juniors. Lots of new stuff this year. What's it going to be like getting out on the street circuit here at St. Petersburg?
Yeah, so it's really just not having any expectations, just going out there, doing the best I can, and learning. Learning's the big thing here. Just want to take away as much as I can from the weekend. What
are your expectations coming in for the season? Are you thinking championship, or is it all about kind of getting that experience you need?
To be honest, a little bit of both. A bit of experience, and at the end of the goal, hopefully we win the championship. Just, like I said, trying to follow both their steps and hopefully get the championship this year.
Expectations for this weekend, a good top 10 or a couple of those would be amazing. Feeling out the car, feeling out these competitors. I haven't raced against a ton of them yet, so just seeing kind of how you race against these other people and get a good footstone for the rest of the season, and maybe go for a Rookie of the Year this year.
I'm looking to win the championship here. Obviously, I want to gain as much experience as I can, but I think team's great and getting adjusted to the team, so we work very well together. I think we can go for the win. I'm going to do everything I can to get it, and yeah, should be a great season.
Just 14 years of age, folks, running with Pabst Racing, which we know won the championship last year with Simon Sykes. They were the team champions as well. Good opportunity for Hudson Schwartz to potentially put himself on top of the box this weekend and all season long.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
And they handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah, road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
We have a fantastic group of drivers set to go here in USF2000, presented by Continental Tire. It is time for the first wheel-to-wheel race of the 2024 season. Say hello to those of you tuning in on the USF Pro Championships YouTube channel on USF2000.com or on the downloadable USF Pro Championships app. Thank you for joining us. Again, ready to start the season in what is gorgeous weather here right now. 80 degrees trackside. My name is Rob Howden, the voice of this USF program. Let's have a look at the grid right now as we're getting set to go. IndyCar just kind of wrapping things up for their practice session. So we are about 5 minutes away from the command to fire here. 20 drivers set to go in the Anderson Company's Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. Let's have a look at the grid, folks. There is 20 drivers set to go, starting at the tail of the field after an issue in qualifying. Hudson Schwartz, the 14-year-old driver to Washington, D.C., and the number 22 for Pabst Racing will start at the tail of the field in this first USF2000 race. Watch for him to work his way forward very quickly. Top 5 pace out of that young driver. Brady Golan, USF Juniors driver, starting on the inside of row number 10 for D-Force Racing. He'll run the full USF Juniors program here in 2024, but will dabble likely in USF 2000 to focus on a move full-time in 2025. We'll go now up to row number 9, starting on the outside from Brazil. Lucas Facuri for D-Force Racing in the number 10. And on the inside in the number 57 machine, the Californian Carson Eder, driving for DC Autosport. He will start inside of row number 9. This field's so absolutely tight, less than 2 seconds separating front to back. We'll move now up to row number 8 on the outside. The Texan Maxwell Jameson for D-Force Racing, the number 12, starting 16th. Inside that row, out of Ohio, in the number 92 Corpay machine for Exclusive Autosport, that is Thomas Schrag. Schrag, a former Team USA scholarship member. We have a bunch of those drivers part of the USF Pro Championships. Moving up to row number 7, one of the many rookies we have in the field, Cole Kleck out of San Antonio, Texas, in the number 14 for VRD Racing. He'll start 14th in his debut USF 2000 race. And all the way from the Australian Formula Ford Series, Xavier Kokai in the number 19 for VRD Racing, starting in the 13th position. Again, so tight, the top of the field here, less than 1.2 seconds separating that part of the field. Moving up into row number 12, it's all Exclusive Autosport on row number 6. Starting on the outside out of Colorado, that is Joey Brienz in the number 91 for Exclusive Autosport. And then on inside him from San Antonio, Texas, these two drivers battled it out in USF Juniors last year. Both drivers getting race wins. Jack Jeffers from San Antonio, Texas in the Corpay number 90. Starting in 11th, his USF 2000 debut here for 2024. He'll start, as I said, on the inside of row number 6. A full USF Juniors program for Jeffers on the docket here for this year. into the top 10 right now, and a fantastic qualifying effort for DC Autosport driver Ayrton Hauk out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Again, one of the other Team USA drivers, part of Jeremy Shaw's fantastic program that sends racers to both the Formula Ford Festival at Brands Hatch and the Walter Hayes Trophy at Silverstone. Hauk in the 58 starting 10th, a good top 10 start. Inside of row number 4, Michael Costello for J. Howard Driver Development in the number 8. Costello, 4 times a winner last year on the F4 U.S. Championship. Great to have him here in USF2000 this year, man. A great start to be able to go into the top 10 as we move our way forward. Row number 4 on the outside, second last year in the USF Juniors program, the tremendously talented young Australian Quinn Armstrong in the number 11 for D-Force Racing, starting on the inside, or the outside rather, of row number 4 in the 8th position alongside him. A driver we believe is going to do double duty this year, a full season in USF Juniors and a full season in USF 2000. Max Taylor, a winner last year in USF Junior from Hoboken, New Jersey for VRD Racing in the number 3, starting in the 7th position. We'll move now up to row number 4 on the outside. A winner last year in his USF 2000 debut in Toronto. A couple seasons at GB3 overseas. Nico Christodoulou in the number 2 for VRD Racing, starting 6th outside of row 3. And Elliot Cox in the drive planning, Sarah Fisher Hartman Racing Development number 67, going to start there on the inside of row number 5. A big group of the folks from drive planning here to cheer on Elliot Cox here this weekend. Right up close and personal right now with Evagoras Papasavas, one of the top drivers in 2023. He will be a championship contender out of the gate here for J. Howard Driver Development, the driver out of Ohio in the number 6, a winner last year. He'll start on the outside of row number 2. Inside of row number 2, a last lap flyer moved him up into the top 3. He's the USF Juniors champion from last year. He's got our USF Pro Championship scholarship livery on the car from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Second generation driver Nicholas Giaffoni from D-Force Racing joined me on the pre-show. He's going to roll off of that beautiful number 1 machine from the inside of row number 2. 20 drivers in the field, 2 on the front row, off pole. In fact, let's just start with the fact it's all Pabst Racing. They have locked out the front row. They won the championship last year with Simon Sykes. On the outside from Cornelius, North Carolina, a winner 2 years ago in USF Juniors. His second year coming in here, 7th in the championship last year. Sam Corey in the number 23, going to roll off from the outside of the front row. And then the driver who will lead him here into turn 1 for the first time here ever at St. Petersburg. He ran every race last year for Pabst Racing, but this one. He was not yet 14 years of age. He's a Florida driver and couldn't run St. Petersburg last year. So a debut run for Max Garcia out of South Florida in that Pabst Racing beautiful machine, the number 24 for Garcia. He'll start in the pole position, a 113.331 in qualifying, just over a tenth and a half quicker than his teammate, Sam Corey. Again, Giaffoni and Papasavas will be on row number 2. Cox and Christodoulou on row 3. Taylor and Armstrong, row 4. Costello and Hauk on row number 5. Jeffers alongside his exclusive teammate Brienza on row 6. Kakai and Kleck, all VRD on row 7. Thomas Schrag starting 15th. Watch for him to make a move forward. He's got really good speed, just didn't qualify well. Maxwell Jamison starting alongside. Etter and Fakiri on row number 9. Golan and Schwartz on row number 10. We started out with a cool day here when the drivers rolled out for practice. We had some fog. We're a long way away from the way it was this morning. 80 degrees trackside here right now. Beautiful blue skies. Some pretty nice breeze to get things underway as well. But remember, for all of these drivers, 13 rookies in the field of 20, all looking to try to go after that scholarship that will get them in to the USF Pro 2000 category next year. This is what it's all about. They're going to put their heads down and try to get it started in the right direction. The scholarship worth almost $460,000. Again, Garcia and Corey ready to roll. Both these drivers into their second season in the program, and not surprising to see them work their way up front. Pabst Racing winning both the driver championship and the team championship in USF 2000 last year. They've come out of the gate strong. But as I always say, St. Petersburg is a place you never know who's going to make it to the checkered flag. Still lots to come before we fire things up and get underway here. As again, 20 drivers, all anywhere from 14 to 23 years of age, all looking to try to see if they can get it done here in the middle rung of this USF Pro Championships. And again, excited to get things underway. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to do exactly that. As I said, Elite Engines building all the power plants of these 20 drivers, and it's time to light them up. Folks, joining us down on pit lane, one of our guests from the Anderson Companies to give us the command, it's Chris Spar.
In honor of the drivers, start your engines!
And there you have it. Engines coming to life on pit lane. 170 horsepower. All these drivers in the Tatis chassis, the same basic chassis, the tub in USF2000 and in the Pro 2000, and all the way down in the first rung of our program, USF Juniors. It's the same basic Tatis tub. We got the halo on the car. Continental tires all the way around as well. And these drivers will get set to roll off a little bit here. Let's have a look at the racetrack as well. Those of you tuning in on the YouTube channel. The Grand Prix of St. Petersburg, this track is one of those ones you can't test on. You don't get much practice on. They got one session. It's a temporary airport race circuit, 1.8 miles in length, 14 turns. You got a combination of asphalt. You've got concrete. You've got the airport runway here we're looking at coming down into turn number 1. All the drivers, many of them rolling off on sticker tires as well. You get a good look at who's out on fresh tires. They are rolling out here to get things underway. One thing, starting off the season, a new program component to what we're doing here. We're going to go with my keys of the race. The USF2000 drivers rolling out for their opening run. When I'm thinking keys of the race, first and foremost, new rubber meets the road. And it's the question with the Continental tires, which teams have come up to speed the best, especially on this kind of a circuit? Who's going to feel for what those Continentals want? They were able to test throughout the early part of the season, back from December when they first got onto these tires. But who really has the feel for the Continentals, especially in a full race distance? Second thing, as I said, sophomores versus freshmen. We got drivers here in their second year, but a bunch of young kids coming in here as rookies. Papasavas, Corey, Garcia, all second-year drivers. But there's some quick rookies with pedigree. We talked about Nicholas Giaffoni, your USF Juniors champ. Same goes for Armstrong, Quinn Armstrong, P2 last year. Ayrton Hauk, a former Team USA a driver. You've got Quinn Armstrong, as I mentioned. Nico Christodoulou already won at Toronto, so these guys may be rookies, but they've won races already. And last but not least, we're going to see it when we come around here, treacherous turn 1. The key is for winning here, getting through turn 1 cleanly. It's one of the widest entries coming down into turn number 1 down the airport strip. The inside line, so very attractive to dive to the inside, but it's not always the best place to go. There's no grip, there's lots of paint, it's dirty. We're getting ready to go. Jace Denmark from Pabst Racing joining me. Jace, do you remember what you were like the first time you started here at St. Petersburg?
I got lucky. My first year was 2021, and I think we started at Barber.
That's true.
So I got one race under my belt on a standard circuit before meeting the streets of St. Petersburg. But, man, it was a ton of fun.
Yeah, first time here is always great fun for these drivers. Let's get things underway as the drivers will work their way into the front straightaway. The warm-up lap is under. The 2024 season about to get underway for the drivers here in USF 2000. It's all Pabst front row. Garcia on the inside, Corey on the outside. Green, green, green. And it's the race down into turn number 1. They try to go 2-3 wide. You got to be clean and green coming through. A couple of drivers having contact further back. Giaffoni's gone to the lead. Nicholas Giaffoni to the lead. They're side by side coming through turn number 2 and 3. You got to give each other room. Further back, drivers trying to work their way through. So a hectic start to the race as they'll work their way down now into turn number 4. Everybody's starting to give each other room here because you can't go through 5, 6, and 7 to 1. Drivers looped it around, lost the rear coming through turn number 4. We'll find out whether or not there is more contact back there that could potentially bring out the yellow. And indeed, the yellow flag is already out. An inauspicious beginning. 2 drivers together on the exit of turn number 4. Let's go back to Jace Denmark before we get a chance to look at the replay. Jace, your first time here at St. Petersburg, your first time on a street circuit like this, you're amped up. You said you were lucky. You got a chance to get your first race in the books. A lot of these drivers further back in the pack, their very first race in USF 2000.
Right, especially coming from a place where we did our spring training at NOLA, where it was very wide open. The walls were very close to the circuit, where this is just a concrete canyon, right? So the walls close in on you as a rookie driver, and it's hard to overcome being comfortable with them.
Looks to be like 2 separate incidents. Hudson Schwartz, who started dead last, was trying to get a couple spots on the opening circuit, ends up being involved in another event. So there's one driver pulling away, and he obviously has the issue. Let me jump onto live timing here. I don't have that up on my screen here right now. So let's try to get over to live timing. We'll find out which drivers have not come back around. We are going to get a look at the replay here, folks. So I believe this is going to be the incident potentially in 3, maybe 4. There's a couple incidents on the racetrack. We'll do the best we can.
Yeah, I believe that's turn 2. It gets real tight, especially when you're trying to go 3 wide through there. I mean, yeah, just not a good move.
Yeah, so that was Carson Etter involved in that one. Carson Etter was in the inside. That was no fault of his own. They were 3 wide coming through. Hudson Schwartz was on the outside, I think, trying to come back across the racetrack to get into the apex there. And that was just your basic left front or right front to left rear contact. Tough for both Carson Etter and Hudson Schwartz right there. Hudson was trying to get rolling and get in there as quickly as he possibly could. Did not quite play out for him, but you know this. That's not a 3 wide corner. It really narrows up through 2 and 3.
It's barely a 2 wide corner. I mean, I've been 2 wide through there with a teammate before, and that's about as comfortable as you can get.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. Drivers involved. First and foremost, Carson Etter and Hudson Schwartz, and then the other incident over in turn number 4, I believe, was for Brady Golan and Tanner DeFabis. Here's a look what happened at turn number 4. And again, watch for a driver losing the rear end coming through. They got too much rotation into the corner. We'll see this here. Coming through, a little further back, wait on it, and you're going to see a driver just lose the rear end coming through right about there. There's the rear end making contact all the way back around. That was Brady Golan, and Tanner DeFabis with absolutely nowhere to go just got on the binders to stop it up. But yeah, Golan just outside the line on the throttle. How tough is it? We haven't really talked about this, Jace. When you're offline here, you know, obviously IndyCars just come out. That's one thing we didn't mention from the pre-show. They came out right after the IndyCar practice session. This track's going to be drastically different than it was when they were on it for qualifying.
Right. The IndyCar rubber makes a definitive line across the circuit. So anytime you're dipping half a tire off of that groove, you're going to be struggling for grip, especially in a racing situation like turn 4.
So you go through 3, you've got this confidence that you're on this big, groove of rubber. Hey, it feels good. I got lots of grip. You roll there, you drop your left sides off going into 4, and all of a sudden the car starts to rotate. You're back on power, and around it goes.
Right, and especially good job to whoever stopped before getting into some major contact with that turn 4 incident, because it looked like a pretty soft hit.
Yeah, Tanner DeFabis able to woe things up. Congratulations to him for sure, as we had said. Again, 20 laps of competition here. The race itself, 45 minutes. So we have a 45-minute window to get the 20 laps in. And as we know, the AMR IndyCar and USF Pro Championship safety team unbelievably quick at getting things back underway. So they'll get those cars cleaned up. You can see they already had the drivers out and away. Tough one for Carson Etter, as he was kind of in the middle of the racetrack there, really had nowhere to go. The 22 of Hudson Schwartz had tried to dive up the inside. And again, that's just the thing you're going to learn. You cannot go 3 wide. Jay said you struggle going 2 wide with your teammate through that corner because there's just not a lot of room. You have to have the trust, and definitely not a 3 wide corner. Of course, that came to an end quickly. Let's go back to the fact that Nicholas Giafoni coming out with the lead. What a great job for Giafoni. Started 3rd inside of the 2nd row, got a good jump, was able to get by to the inside, and it was a fantastic drive for him. He goes to P1. Evagoras Papasavas from 4th up to 2nd. Garcia goes back to 3rd. Sam Corey, who started on the outside of the front row, ends up in 6th. So outside of the front row, Jason, tough place to start, knowing that the snarling lions are coming at you. When you roll your way down in there, you never know if there's guys going to be inside, outside. Sometimes when you're on the outside of the front row, you're just trying to get through that corner.
Right. It's always quite the entertaining corner to start. I mean, I've started on the front row here, and I've started, 3 rows back. So there's always things to play. Usually the leaders either take each other out going into the first corner, or they're a bit soft in, which is kind of what happened at the start of this race, where Giafoni was able to get ahead of Max Garcia and take the point here.
Yeah, lots of opportunities still to pass, lots of racing still to go, as we know. But the 2 incidents happening essentially in the back quarter of the grid. So let's give you a look at the top 10 as it looks. Giafoni the leader, Papasavas in 2nd, Garcia 3rd. Elliot Cox, who started 5th, gets a spot up to 4th. Nico Christodoulou in 5th. Sam Corey in 6th spot. Max Taylor 7th. Michael Costello 8th, Ayrton Hauk in 9th, and Quinn Armstrong up into 10th. Both Jack Jeffers and Joey Brienza fell back a couple of spots. Jeffers, who started 11th, back into 13th spot, and Brienza losing 3 positions back into the 14th. He's 15th actually for Brienza. And listen, when you're starting in the middle of the group like that, when you're up front, you can kind of react to just a couple of people. When you're in the middle, Jason, you can speak to this. You're trying to look as far forward as you can, not just a couple guys in front of you. You need to be really aware of what's happening way up front as well.
You have to really engage that 6th sense and kind of feel who's around you. You can listen to what's happening. You see a lock up ahead of you, or you see a little glimpse in your mirror. You kind of just have to play nice with the people around you, but also choose your brake zone. That's really important going into a hard braking zone like turn 1 is just to choose when you're going to hit the brakes, because it's really easy to hit the guy in front of you, and it's really easy to check up early, and you just get freight trained.
First time down into 4, are you getting on the brakes a little early and a little lighter, maybe just to try to gauge on what the guy in front of you is doing? I don't think you're obviously going to be pushing your braking zone. You're kind of you check up a little bit to see what happens in the corner?
Right. I mean, having cold tires and not knowing what the IndyCar rubber is going to do, it is better to err on the side of caution. However, if I was leading, I would give it everything.
Yeah, I know you would. And most drivers would. If they're the guys up front, you're going to drive it in there knowing that the grip is there. I'm just thinking if you're a little bit deeper back, back in like 6th, 7th, or whatever it may be, the run down into 4, you might take a little bit of a breather to see how things play out. Obviously, tough one for Tanner DeFabis, was actually able to get the car woed up, but damaged enough that they pulled that car behind the wheel. You see the 12 and the 10 of Maxwell Jamison and Lucas Facuri bringing up the tail of the field right now. That might be Golden back there as well. I don't know if he might not have the rear wing on the car. I'm trying to see Golden at the very back there. Let's see if he rolls through. Yeah, Golden looks like he's all right. Damage to the rear wing, though. In the contact, he spun and barely hit the barrier, so you can just see there's Golden there. That rear wing does not look super good right now.
He'll be good at turning right.
And a little bit of top speed as well with that wing hanging down like it is. We expect to go green here pretty soon, as the track, I believe, is in pretty good shape at this point here. Again, shout out to everybody who is watching online. We know our live stream is always very animated with everybody on the chat as well. We hear our former USF2000 champion Kiko Porto on the chat. So Kiko, hope to see you back in an Indy Next car pretty soon, but we're proud to see that you're making the move to the Super Trofeo Series. Kiko, as we know, one of the favorites of our paddock here, and a tremendously talented driver. Hopefully we see him get a chance to get into the Indy Next program and really get his deserved spot on the grid of the NTT IndyCar Series. A very talented young driver for certain. Opening laps under the yellow, as we had 2 different incidents on the green flag lap. Again, I've said this before, and it's very interesting that when you look at the people that have won races here at St. Petersburg, specifically in the USF2000 program, you got to go back and look at some of the record books. Over the last 3 years, the drivers who have won at least one race or have won these doubleheaders did not go on to win the championship, which is very intriguing. So, indeed.
I also fit into that list. I won the first race here at St. Pete in 22. Barely missed out by the championship by 6 points.
Exactly that. And that's happens, man. That's the whole deal. And the fact that, getting out of the gate with a race win is key, but don't throw away an opportunity to finish 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, by trying to go for that win, thinking you have to come out of the gate strongly. That's one of the things I've always said is, listen, get out of St. Petersburg cleanly, and then you can buckle down and try to go for that championship. Great start for Nicholas Giaffoni, our USF Juniors champion from last year, our rookie in the program. He's going to lead him as the pace car will head into the pit lane. Giaffoni's no stranger to leading, and he did it lots last year in USF Juniors, but a long straightaway like this down into turn number 1 at St. Petersburg. Here comes the challenge. They'll snake their way down the green flag coming back out from Aaron Likens. They'll work their way down into turn number 1, and how does it all play out? He's going to roll to the inside. Papasavas right there. Big run to the outside as well for Max Garcia. Everybody else coming through cleanly. Let's see if they can get through here. Oh, almost contact there as well. The rookie drivers roll the dice trying to come to the inside through turn number 2. It's a tough place to try to go side by side. This is not going to end well either. Wow, these drivers are really pushing the envelope here early as they dive to the inside of turn number 4. Watch a couple of drivers. One driver's gone off into the pit lane. That might have been the leader. I think Giaffoni may have overshot turn number 4. So Giaffoni deep on the brakes into turn number 4. He goes into the runoff. How about P1 back to P19 in the matter of 1 corner?
And that's just what we're talking about in turn 4, being a little bit on the side of caution and not to over push your brake zone, and that's exactly what happened.
Leading the way, trying to get that first win. He's going to have to come from the tail of the field. We know that Giaffoni's got top 5 speed, so he's got work to do over the next 14 laps if he wants to potentially fight his way back into the top 10. We'll give you the look at the new top 10 when they come back around. Evagoras Papasavas is the leader for Jay Howard Driver Development. Across start-finish, scored his first win last year at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. In the second is the number 24, and a look to the inside. Not quite for Sam Corey. Did a big look to the inside of Elliott Cox. thought better of it, backed out a little bit, so good job there for Sam Corey thinking. If you got the car, just make sure you keep pushing. He's got a lot of pressure right now on Elliott Cox. These drivers trying to get the results they need to start off the 2024 season. Papasabas, Corey, Costello, Garcia, and Cox looking to fight here further back. They are scrapping it out right now. That's Quinn Armstrong in 6th, Nico Christodoulou 7th, Taylor 8th, Facuri 9th. That's actually a fight between Joey Brienza, Cole Kleck, and Jack Jeffers we were picking up there. That is 13th, 14th, and 15th, as they've all got elbows up. There is Giafoni already closing up to the rear, I believe, of Thomas Schrag. So that could be the fight there as well. But again, early on, lap 7 of a scheduled 20 here for USF2000. They'll race again tomorrow afternoon. It'll be 4:55 start time. Our USF Pro 2000s, including the guy beside me, Jace Denmark for Pabst Racing, just before noon hour, 11:55 scheduled start for the first of 2 USF Pro 2000 races. Drivers settling in a little bit here. Speaking of settling in, Jace, I'm going to give you and the Pro 2000 drivers a little round of applause. Clean practice, clean qualifying. Are you happy with that? The drivers were able to give you guys lots of track time?
That was extremely surprising to me. This has been our largest USF Pro 2000 field
ever.
And we got through both. I was the first person to see the track ever for 2024.
Yep.
And we all got through it cleanly. So yeah, having a great amount of track time that is quality for our setup is extremely important, and was a great help this morning.
To me, it bodes well for the 2024 season. We've got a lot of talented drivers in the field, but a lot of drivers with maturity and kept their heads about them in tough situations. They didn't need to overdrive in that first practice session, like you said. Super dirty out there. You guys are out there on your carryover tires from spring training. No grip whatsoever. You're able to get cleanly through the full session, then qualifying as well. Over the session and qualifying, were you one of the guys that put new fresh rubber on in that session?
Yes, sir. We started on rubbers, and then we ended our last stint with a new set. So yeah.
Massively different grip from that first session?
Yes, completely different. I mean, the times didn't show it too much because of the air, the ambient air heated up a bit, but other than that, I mean, it was comparable, but a lot better in the brake zones.
USF2000 not quite as clean. We had a couple of red flags in both practice and qualifying, but the drivers did do a good job. Issues at the start of this race, as we said, with 2 incidents on the opening circuit. But the racing up front starting to get good. You see that all the way back there to the 23 of Sam Corey. They're all kind of lining up as they work their way out. There is the number 6 leading the way right now, Evagoras Papasabas. Let me have a look. I'm going to go back to my live timing because the one on my screen here is not correct. Papasabas, your leader. Garcia runs in 2nd. Elliott Cox 3rd. Corey now in the 4th spot. Christodoulou runs in 5th. Costello 6th. Taylor 7th. Quinn Armstrong 8th. Ayrton Haug 9th. Xavier Kokai now up into the 10th spot. And Jeffers runs 11th. Brienza 12th. And looking for Giafoni, trying to work his way closer up here to his teammate Lucas Facuri.
One thing that I see that is really interesting to me, and what I think is very important in a series like this, is look at this field. I mean, we have the first 7 drivers all nose to tail and battling all the way through turn 1 as we see a position change right there.
That's Max Taylor getting by Michael Costello. Good pass there from Max Taylor, but you saw some really defensive running there from Elliott Cox as well, defending down the inside to kind of cover off the bottom on Sam Corey. But young Sam, real focused, didn't buy the hook there and kind of went back to the outside.
Right. There's a lot more grip on the outside of turn 1 than there is on the inside. So defending the position on the inside obviously has the advantage, but making sure that you're staying clean and staying to the outside if you can't make the move stick is a smart, mature move from Sam.
And here's the interesting thing, because you can attest to this. If you're running 3rd on the racetrack and there's a really big battle for 1st and 2nd, it's not the worst place to be. As we got a battle up front right now between Papasabas and Garcia. You've been on the good end of that before, Jace, running P3.
I have. I've been gifted a great amount of points that way. And as I see Sam Corey just got by, and I think he's moved up into 3rd place.
Let's have a look, see whether or not he does get by. Look at this battle for 1st and 2nd. They're pulling away right now. Down to the inside comes the number 6 of Papasabas. And indeed, Sam Corey in the VRD race machine has got by Elliott Cox. So Cox likely getting challenged now by Nico Christodoulou. But again, wherever the pass happens, you got to finish it off coming down into turn number 1. Garcia going at it here with Papasavas. These are two drivers who certainly expected to be in the championship fight. Two of the top finishing drivers in the points, along with Sam Corey, the drivers who did not move up into the USF Pro 2000 battle. And there's Corey now into third. Look at this fight further back as it's now Taylor in the number 3 trying to find a way by his teammate Nico Christodoulou. So VRD racing drivers are running strong here as well, currently 5th and 6th. Then you go back to Kakai in, I believe, 10th position. So indeed, the battle here is on. There's a shot of the 19 coming through here as well. That is a little further back. Again, the 19 of Kokai, the VRD racer, has got the exclusive Autosport guys right on the gearbox. So, again, good racing in the top 10, in the top 5, and, of course, for this lead as well, as Papasavas is being hounded by Garcia. We're past the halfway point. 12 will go in the books this time by.
Wow, look at that, all the way to the bottom.
Oh, watch yourself coming back across. Race director will be having a look at this one. Garcia's going to try the long run. Is it the over-under? He's going to try the outside. Garcia going to try to hold it. Coming through 1. Into turn number 2. There's side-by-side contact. And there's issue there for Corey, rather for Max Taylor as he gets into Christodoulou. So left front damage for Max Taylor as he overcooks it. And it's still Papasavas with the lead.
Wow, this is great racing from the USF 2000 group.
Hopefully we can have a look to go back at the replay of that incident that happened with Max Taylor, I believe, trying to get to the inside of Christodoulou. Might have just pushed it down the inside and likely left front to right rear contact. That was the damage that we had there. We do have a look at the replay. Let's run it back when we get an opportunity here. Leaders coming out of turn 9. Another little defensive move to the inside there for Papasavas. Full course yellow. We are full course yellow for an incident on the racetrack. It'll stack everybody right back up. Papasavas will bring them down to pace car speed. We do have a look at the incident. Here's the leaders coming through, but look further back. Oh no, it's a spin. Christodoulou spun at the apex of turn number 1, came back across the track, and Max Taylor, who was putting on so much pressure, indeed did not go to the inside. He had nowhere to go. That's a tough one. He was putting so much pressure on Christodoulou. And listen, Jace, that's what you do, right? If you can't find a way by, it's relentless pressure. You try to force the guy in front of you into making that mistake.
Right, and that's exactly what Max Garcia is doing for the lead here. It's very hard to get around a leader at this place. You know, you got clean air and you've got the track in front of you to just go for it. So him being under pressure is also stacking up that train. There's about 6 people behind him trying to get that win.
Yeah, everybody hungry to get that first win of the year, and this has been a wild one so far. The pressure being put on by Max Taylor, relentless on his teammate Nico Christodoulou. And I don't know, it was hard for us to see whether there was potentially contact for Christodoulou that kind of started that rotation, or if he just got the car to the inside, was trying to carry too much speed, and it just rotated on him. It came all the way around, and as it came around, it of course comes back across the racetrack from drivers left to right, and literally Max Taylor with nowhere to go on the inside, just trying to see if he could pinch it down onto the try to get down onto the apex to see if he could get away. But again, that's a tough one there for Max Taylor. We do have time. If we can re-rack that, I'd love to have a look at this again. Again, here's a different angle. Here's the leaders coming through, and you're going to see Corey, Cox, and around goes Christodoulou. And look at full lock to the right for Max Taylor trying to find a way through. At that point, you're really a passenger, Jace.
Yeah, nothing you can do there. Nothing at all. I mean, that's just an unfortunate situation, especially being the first points of the season.
Yeah, 100% on that. Again, here's what we have now as they've changed things around, obviously. Papasavas with the lead. Max Corey goes to second. Max Garcia in second. Sam Corey in third. Elliot Cox fourth. They were clean coming through that top 4. The incident between those two drivers brings Michael Costello up to P5. Quinn Armstrong goes to 6. Nico Christodoulou will fall down the order, I believe.
And look at the pressure to the lead.
Oh, we're going to go back to green already.
All the way to the bottom of the track.
We're back to green, folks. I was trying to give you the top 10, but we're right back at it. Garcia's going to go to the outside. Papasavas is going to try to hold him. Hold your breath as they work their way through. Elliot Cox trying to go down the inside of Sam Corey as well. This time they're side by side coming through turn number 2, and again Papasavas to the inside. Corey right there, but Garcia widely lets up, but that lets all the snarling lions come from behind. How about 3 wide coming down into 4? Down to the inside goes Corey. He's trying to hold off Elliot Cox, who may have been able to grab the spot back. Corey getting hung out to dry on the outside of turn number 4. Everybody fighting their way through it indeed. Elliott Cox puts the drive planning Tatis back up into P3. Always an opportunity to pass coming through a new restart, and you watched the car of Papasavas, full rotation, little bit of exit oversteer, but he was able to control that machine. The J. Howard driver development Tatis, and he leads once again. This has been an action-packed race for USF2000. I'm telling you, folks, this season is going to be tremendous. We have so many talented drivers in this category, many coming up from the USF Juniors platform. So exciting to watch. We'll give you the top 10 rundown again when they come back around. But every time we've gone down into turn number 1, it's been a battle. This time, though, Papasavas with a little bit of breathing room right now. So it's Papasavas leading, Garcia in second. Corey slips back into the 5th spot, or 4th spot, rather. So again, it's Cox up into 3rd, Corey 4th, Costello 5th. Christodoulou, even after that contact, is still in the 6th position. Obviously, the contact pushed him back forward, so even with the spin, he holds on to P6. Armstrong runs 7th. Jack Jeffers now up to 8th. Ayrton Houck in 9th. And Xavier Kakai now rounding out the top 10. What a crazy start. And listen, how lucky was it for Christodoulou? Spins and then gets pushed back around by Max Taylor.
I mean, if you haven't used up all of your luck through the season, that might take it all. So, yeah, to get that amount of contact and get pushed right in with no damage is a great way to recover from something like that.
Get pushed back to the point where you hold your spot, or at least only lose one position, and you don't have damage. How do you not have damage to his right front after the contact? Really hard contact. Obviously, the brunt of it happening to Taylor's VRD machine. So again, watching the laps wind away. There'll be 5 to go when they come back around. 5 laps remaining. 14, 15 in the books as they come across. Papasavas still leads, but Max Garcia is putting his head down, looking for that first big USF2000 win. And Corey having to go at it again with Elliott Cox. Cox trying to do the over-under right now. Let's see if Corey can get by. They're side by side. No. Corey thinks better of it. Tucks back in. He's got Michael Costello on the gearbox now as well. It's almost a pass or B pass kind of thing, Chase. If you let up and not making a move, the guy behind you is going to get that better run.
Right, you have to react to do something. I mean, if you're not going to be the one that makes the move, the person behind you is just going to go right by him.
Yeah, and I think Costello able to get by Corey as a result. Corey had to check up a little bit because he is faster than Cox, but couldn't find a way by. Costello taking full advantage of that. It's a better run out of turn number 3. And Michael Costello, the rookie, puts himself up now into P4. Good start there. Good start to the season thus far for Michael Costello. Talking about drivers working their way back forward as well. Nicholas Giaffoni led that restart, went off into the runoff of turn number 4. He has fought his way back up to 13th right now, leveraging these issues on the racetrack. He's going to try to go after Thomas Schrag right now. Those drivers, both of them quicker than Xavier Kokai as well. So we see a good battle outside the top 10, but the fight's still on for P1 as Evagoras Papasavas doing everything he can to hold off Max Garcia. And the funny thing is, you think about the fact that Evagoras' first win ever at Mid-Ohio last year, to win that race, he had to hold off Simon Sykes. And with elbows up, he had to be so aggressive to hold off Simon, who was thinking championship. This is the start of the season, and once again, Papasavas has gone full defense trying to hold off one of the Paps cars.
Right. And I see, almost hits the wall, so that was
Cox, I think.
Yeah.
I think Cox went wide. That may have put, I think that actually might be Corey. Yeah, I think Corey has worked his way back into 3rd. So Corey into 3rd, Cox 4th, Costello 5th, 6th is Christodoulou.
And it's exactly that type of pressure that we're talking about at the beginning of this that makes some drivers crack, especially from the lead or from a podium position like Sam just took advantage of.
It's exactly that. Good racing here as we're coming into the final couple laps. The drivers here in USF2000 getting their season underway, and we know how good of a year this is going to be. We have so many talented drivers in this program. As I said, a big win for Papasavas last year at Mid-Ohio. He's an Ohio boy, and that's the race you want to win. But to be able to come out of the gate right now, because he kind of ran a little bit, into the shadow of Lockie Hughes, who was in the championship battle all year long. Learned a ton from Lockie. It's his turn to pick up the ranks here, pick up the banner for J. Howard Driver Development, and holding off a determined Max Garcia. The thing here right now is these two drivers run 1-2. Like I've said before, I know Garcia's going to want that win, but you got to get the job done right. You don't want to wreck both cars and find yourself, obviously on the back foot for the rest of the season.
side by side through turn 4. That's always tight.
They might have had
contact.
I think there might have been contact. We'll see whether or not Papasavas has any kind of damage. Indeed, we hardly could see that. It was kind of the transition through turn 5 over to turn 6. Garcia's now into the lead. He made a move to the inside, did kind of that long run on the outside of turn 4 to get over to the apex of turn number 5. It wasn't the fastest way around, but trying to hold the inside line.
Right, and there's lots of sneaky passes that go through there in turn 4, so turn 4 and 5. Now, Max with the point here, I think he'll be able to drive away.
I would have to agree. I believe he's significantly quicker than Papasavas, and that was a really solid move. You think about coming through 4, Jace, you're wide through the corner. You got to get back to the right to set up to make sure you have that speed coming through the next corner. And man, we've done it in karting before. That's the old slide job down the inside to dive to the apex.
Right. I mean, it's exactly a karting move, which is where everyone came from. So
that's it. Very
transferable here.
So Garcia now the leader in the Advanced Auto Parts Pabst Racing number 24. He has taken over the top spot. Papasavas still runs in second. I believe it's Sam Corey now in third position. Fourth would, I believe, be either Cox or Costello. I think it's potentially Costello now. I don't know that either of my live timings are working here right now, so we'll try to see what we can get. Laps winding down, though. I believe this is lap number 17. It'll be lap 18 when they come around. 2 to go when they get back around here. Again, this is where these drivers and the fitness they've done throughout the offseason, this is when you're digging in. You've all that time on the treadmill, on the bike, in the gym, making sure that you're not tired right now, making sure that you're ready to go for the final couple of laps, because if your competitor starts getting tired, Jace, that's your chance to pounce.
And that's exactly when they start making mistakes. So the best you can stay on top of your physical ability, the less mistakes will happen.
Again, I believe the 2 to go sign this time by. We'll see as they come back around. I believe this will be lap number 18, or is this going to be lap number 19? We may see the white flag this time by as they come through. Yeah, this is it, final lap. There's the white flag from Aaron Likens. Garcia, Papasavas, Corey, Cox, and Costello, your top 5. They're still fighting further back, which I love. That's the 14 and the 19, Cole Fleck, and I believe Xavier Kokai battling at the tail of the field as well. This is it. For a young driver, I don't care where you are in the grid, you keep fighting. It's all about experience. It's all about getting that wheel-to-wheel racing. Max Garcia looking to get that first win that eluded him last year. Too young to race here. The Grand Prix of St. Petersburg was only 13 when the race was run last year. Had to wait for the next race until he turned 14. So it's first opportunity to get here, but into the juggernaut of Pabst Racing that won the championship last year with Simon Sykes, the team championship as well. We were able to score the championship at USF Pro 2000, and what a way it is to pick up where they left off in 2023 through the chicane of 12 and 13 over to turn number 14 now, out of the final corner. It's the big hairpin. You got to make sure you hit the marks one last time. Onto the front straightaway, and count him a winner in USF2000 competition. Max Garcia will win for Pabst Racing in the number 24. Garcia gets the first victory. Tremendous drive for Garcia.
Great job, buddy. Great job. So proud of you, Max.
All right, I'll give you, listen, you've been good. I'll give you some bias time. You're Pabst Racing, he's your teammate. You're watching everybody celebrate. It's got to be a good moment.
I mean, 4 years with this team, and they're absolutely the best group of people to work with. I'm so proud of Max and his team to finally get a win here.
Yeah, 14 years of age, a race winner. He will be the point leader heading in to race number 2. Evagoras Papasavas, as we expected, in the fight all the way. He ends up finishing in second. Sam Corey, a very smart drive. You think about the battle between Garcia and Papasavas. Corey was in that fight with Elliott Cox and Costello. To be able to come through third, I think huge for Sam Corey as well.
It's honestly a great recovery for the both of them from what I've seen biasly. But as a starting 1 and 2 and getting shuffled back into 3 and 5 or 4 and 5, it's a good recovery to get back up into that podium position to really pounce on this championship points situation.
Yeah, Max Garcia, there's your unofficial results, folks, rather. Max Garcia with the win. Evagoras Papasavas in second. Sam Corey third. Elliott Cox fourth. Top rookie Michael Costello in the 5th spot. Nico Christodoulou ends up in 6th. How he continued after the contact with Max Taylor, I do not know, but holds on to 6th. Quinn Armstrong, the young Aussie, doing everything he possibly can to find the budget to do the remainder of the season. He finishes a strong 7th. Jack Jeffers, in his first USF2000 race of the year, he goes to 8th position. Will run the entire USF Juniors program, so a one-off thus far for Jeffers. P8, Ayrton Hauk in 9th, and Joey Brienza rounding out the top 10. Nicholas Giaffoni, who led on that restart, went off track, able to work his way back up to 11th. So a solid recovery there for Nicholas Giaffoni. Again, what a race that was. And folks, out of the car right now, this is the thing you want. When you're a racer, you want to get out, you want to get up, and you want to celebrate the victory. He's heading over to Augie Pabst. That is fantastic. What a great run there for Max Garcia, just 14 years of age. That first win is obviously big. You can see the emotion starting to pour out already for young Max Garcia. You fight so hard, you dig so deep, and when you get that first win, the emotions there for the young 14-year-old, part of this Pabst Racing program. Jace, think back to your first big, USF Pro Championships win. I'm sure you can attest that the emotions are real.
Oh, yeah, you always remember, and this is something that he'll remember forever.
Again, congratulations all around for Max Garcia. Of course, get these drivers out of here. They'll work us over here to the Victory Lane area. We'll have our podium presentations here live on the stream. Don't go anywhere, folks. Make sure that you join us here as we get a chance to celebrate it. There again are your results. Garcia, Papazavas, and Corey will join me here on the podium. Cox, a strong run to 4th. Likely his best run of his career. Cox, I think, is a driver we're going to see in a championship battle this year. Costello, Christodoulou, Armstrong, Jeffers, Hauk, and Brienza rounding out the top 10. We'll get all our drivers over here as soon as we possibly can out of the car with the success for Max Garcia. Jace, let's wrap up with you. Hey, listen, number one, strong race for the drivers in USF 2000. We had a couple issues, but we got a lot of good drivers in this field.
Right, and that was some amazing racing that I've seen from the USF field with minimal cautions also, which I'm just, very glad to see that it's going to be an exciting season for them.
Race number one for you in USF Pro 2000 tomorrow, about 11:55 start time. Your thoughts? What are you thinking? What are your expectations?
P6.
Okay.
So 3rd row, that's not too bad. We can work forward from there. We've done a little bit of work to the car, and we know where we're lacking, so we're going to be right on top of it.
Folks, I'll tell you this. Follow this young man, Jace Denmark. Follow him on all his social media for sure. What's your Instagram handle? That's the one you guys probably work on.
Jace.Denmark.
There you go. Jace.Denmark. Follow this young man in USF Pro 2000 this year. Jace, thank you so much for joining me, and I appreciate it. Folks, don't go anywhere. Quick break when we get back. Victory Lane celebrations for the opening race of this year's USF 2000 Championship presented by Continental Tire.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
Can they handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah. Road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires. You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
Can they handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah. Road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires. You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
Can they handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah, road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
Down here in Victory Lane, trying to get things underway with the first event of the USF Pro Championships presented by Continental Tire. What a race to start things off. Such talented drivers in the program. We have some guests from Anderson Companies that are going to help us give out some awards here as well. Let's start with the driver coming home in third spot. Podium to start the season. Give it up for Sam Corey from Pabst Racing. Bringing up our third place trophy, Gabe Bem, one of our guests from Anderson Companies. A lot of good folks from Anderson Companies here with us this weekend to have a lot of fun. Great to have these guys here. And again, Gabe, awesome stuff. Turn and get a shot there. Great job for Sam Corey. What a fight for third, fourth, and fifth. It was a wild one for sure. Coming home in second, the car went away from him a little bit at the end, but what a great drive to be able to bring it home, folks, from J. Howard Driver Development. P2 today, Evagoras Papasavas. Tamara Uranik will bring this P2 trophy up here for Evagoras. Fantastic run for him. Did everything he could to try to hold off his challengers, but ended up just not quite having it at the end. But beauty is they get to come back and do it all again here tomorrow afternoon. Watch this young driver. I've had the privilege of watching him racing karts, and I've called a lot of his races in karts, talked a lot to him in podiums and karting events. But this is the first big car race win here in USF Pro Championship competition, folks, for Pabst Racing. His first win, put it up for Florida's own Max Garcia. Stay down with me here first, Max. How's the first win feel?
Amazing.
Tell me about this team a little bit. Obviously, they've given you a car. They worked so hard with you last year, but this, I think, is the year for you to come out of the gate strong.
Yeah, this team's awesome. I can't describe how much Pabst Racing means to me. Just an awesome team. I love everyone there.
Let's talk. Let's focus on. I love the emotion for sure. You were putting the pressure on Papasavas the whole time. You know, Evagoras was fast, but it just seems like you had a car that you were being patient. You knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, we had the perfect car. Thanks to Burke, wherever he is, he made the perfect car.
Who do you want to thank today?
The entire Pabst Racing, my mom, my dad, and all my family that's here.
Enjoy this one, my friend. Hop on top. That's what it means to win in USF2000, ladies and gentlemen. Let's bring that first place trophy in. Scarlett Delgado will bring the P1 trophy in, very likely the first of many for young Max Garcia. This is the future of the NTT IndyCar Series right here for you, folks. What a great drive. Garcia with the victory, a move on Papasavas. Sam Corey, that fight for third.